I thought my student's comment was creepy. Then I found hidden cameras in my home. I am a high school English teacher and have been for a few years. In that time, as a woman, I have gotten used to teenage boys behaving awkwardly around me sometimes, and pheromones are part of the deal. There have been occasional comments, but generally in the vein of, "Miss, so-and-so has a crush on you," or "Miss, would you be so-and-so's Valentine?" It is all in good humor, said in front of the whole class or a large group, and is well-meaning. My school throws a January ball for seniors, ages 16 to 18, which is basically an opportunity to celebrate the start of another calendar year. Since it is after hours, not every teacher has to attend, and this year I was asked to chaperone. There is no alcohol permitted, but obviously, some of them sneak in hip flasks and so on. During this month's ball, 2 students were huddled at a table in the corner of the hall, not dancing, just keeping to themselves. I know them well as problematic students who have difficulties socially but also perform poorly academically, so they do not fit in with the popular crowd or the nerdy group. We have some of these every year: poor hygiene, greasy hair, long fingernails, that sort of thing. Immediately, I could tell they had been drinking from the way they spoke and smelled, so I asked them to hand over any alcohol they had. One of the boys, let us call him Stuart, started protesting. He said the following, and I am 100% sure this is what he actually said. "Come on, teacher. Do not pretend you will not open that bottle of Bailey's when you get home, feet up in your dressing gown, watching the new TV. Give us a break." As soon as he said this, I felt my heart drop into my stomach and got cold all over. I had just bought a bottle of Bailey's Irish Cream for myself the weekend before the dance. On nights when I do not have much grading or planning and want to treat myself, I have a bath and watch a movie or series in my dressing gown. My husband bought a new television over Christmas. I asked him how he knew those things, and he feigned ignorance, basically saying it was a lucky guess. I was so shaken that I left them, and a short while later, they both left. That night, I could barely sleep, and my paranoia kept growing. I simply cannot believe that he could have guessed all 3 of those things. One, maybe, but no way all 3. My husband is away for work currently, so I phoned him and told him about it. He basically downplayed my concerns, saying I probably mentioned those things to my class at various points and that this student had just remembered. But I would never mention those things. I just would not, and I am sure I have not. I have become more skittish at home when I hear noises. I only live in a small house, but when I arrive home from buying groceries, I check every single room and cupboard before I lock the doors. I have also arranged to have the locks changed. When cars stop outside the house, I turn off all the lights and peek at them through the blinds. I am having trouble sleeping. In class, this student is quiet and the same as ever, not completing homework assignments and being distracted. My husband is growing increasingly exasperated and is more worried about my mental health than the possibility that this student could somehow know details of my personal life. I mentioned it to my supervisor as well, and she also reasoned that I had either misheard what he said, it was a coincidence, or a combination of the 2. What is the play here? I am seriously freaked out and do not know how to even begin putting this to rest. Update 1. I was not expecting this post to receive so much attention. I am really grateful to so many people who have validated my concerns and helped me develop a plan of action. I got home a little while ago and will be going out shortly with a friend to try to roll out Bluetooth and Wi-Fi devices with my neighbors. After that, the 2 of us will conduct a meticulous search of the house for any concealed devices, using the lights-out phone camera, trick that some people recommended, along with other tips I have found online. Just to clarify a couple of points that I have seen raised multiple times. Dressing gown is a very common term here in England for what Americans might call a robe. It is absolutely common parlance. Here, most people I know would associate a robe with something a wizard might wear. In terms of it being a lucky guess, if he had just said, "Relax with a glass of wine," I might have assumed so. But the dressing gown comment, plus the Bailey's comment when I had just bought a bottle, and the explicit mention of a new television, which I am 100% certain I did not misinterpret, make it much harder to write off as a coincidence. As far as social media goes, I have an Instagram account set to private under my maiden name, and my profile picture is not of me. I am not in the habit of connecting with former students. I only have 3, and they have all gone on to study English at university and have used me as a reference. I also have a Snapchat, but I only use it with my husband and very close friends. I have posted nothing about my new television, and I do not think I have mentioned it to colleagues, let alone to students. Certainly, I have said nothing about the Baileys I just bought. Update 2. I was not going to post an update here, but the number of worried people who have reached out to me made me reconsider. After a thorough search of my house, I found 2 devices. They appear to be camera devices, though I do not know if audio is included. One of them was inside the smoke detector in my bedroom, while the other was concealed within the wall of my living room. Looking at an old picture of my bedroom, it seems like the smoke detector itself had been slightly changed. I believe the new one is a device in itself, which the culprit somehow swapped with the old one without us noticing. The matter has now been referred to the police. If it were not for so many of you taking me seriously and giving me practical advice, I do not think I would have had the courage to check, especially given how my husband downplayed my concerns. He has been very apologetic and is coming back from his work trip early, but I have asked to spend some time apart and will be staying with my parents for a while. I am glad I raised the issue with the head of my school and a couple of others, as there is now a paper trail, another suggestion from the thread. Needless to say, I am completely shaken to my core, and I have the most revolting feeling of my privacy being invaded. I have no idea how many people have been involved in this, but phones have been confiscated from students, and we should have more answers soon. I will not be making any more posts or updates. Thank you again to everyone for affirming me and making me feel sane.